Welcome into LTSN, another edition of Blue Devil men's volleyball. Battle for third place in the WAC. Today with Siena Heights coming into town for the first time this season. This is the third meeting of the year between these two squads. Siena Heights took the first two under head coach Kim Barrington, head coach Ed Rule. On the men's side, the Blue Devil program comes in on a program record 5-game match winning streak and looking to extend that today. This would be a big one, taking down Siena Heights if they could potentially do it. Last time we saw them, you could probably consider it their hardest fought loss of the season against Lourdes. That was the last WAC opponent. Since then, they've won 5 in a row, going on a clean sweep of their spring break trip, coming in off a win over Bluefield College. Weren't in full force in terms of the pieces that they would have liked to have. Gospel Sua has taken a full-time job, so congratulations to Gospel. He will no longer be with the team, but the Blue Devil squad looking to make up for that. Lawrence Patton has been excellent. He had 29 assists in that matchup with Bluefield as the Blue Devils strike first there on the Calvin Ooms swing. He's also been sensational. Head coach Ed Rule pointed him out when I asked, was there any individual performances that you saw during the spring break trip that really stood out? And here's Joshua Eckert. He's been good individually as well. And back there, Javier Contreras in the libero uniform today, going up against one of the better defenders in the conference, Emilio De Jesus on the Siena Heights side. And De Jesus sprawling there to no avail. Blue Devils off to a 2-0 start here on their home floor. Lawrence Tech comes in 4th in the WAC. Only Goshen below them at 0-5. Blue Devils have a 2-5 conference record as that sail is long, and the Saints get on the board. Saints with a 2-3 record, but Lawrence Tech, as I mentioned earlier, could still pass up Siena Heights this season. This is the final WAC matchup of the year for Lawrence Tech until the WAC tournament. That'll be most likely played at Lourdes, the team that is 5-0 and atop the WAC conference. Flying in there was Ooms. We get a whistle, and that point will go to Lawrence Tech. Off to a nice start here. Back to serve will be Javi Contreras, the Miami, Florida native. Only Floridian on the Lawrence Tech side as there's the service error. Siena Heights 3 games back of Lourdes for the top spot in the WAC. It looks like Lourdes is going to run away with that and hosts the WAC tournament on April 5th and 6th. Here is Narkowicz, and that's off the block, and looks like it went back over and touched the hand. I believe that'll go to Siena Heights, so a quick 2-0 run for them to tie things up. Ooms the light tap over and back over from Scheidez. Now Narkowicz off the block, and we get the call going in the direction of Lawrence Tech, so 4-3 now. Too much heat coming from the back row that time. It was Evan Cashin, the 6'2 freshman from St. Joseph, Michigan. A very young Siena Heights team. They don't have any seniors. I asked their head coach, Kim Barrington, about that before this one. I asked her, you know, is that a good thing for you? Is that a bad thing for you? She said in the beginning of the season it did hurt us in terms of the experience. We like to have that experience, the late-in sets, late-in matchups. But as the season has gone on, they've kind of grown and developed naturally, and now it's at a point in this stage of the year where it doesn't matter as much, and they've now clawed back here to take their first lead of the night, 5-4, and on serve. They give it right back with the service error. Blue Devils have only lost 1 set in their past 5 matches. Go outside, that's kind of an awkward setup. Couldn't really get a full swing on the outside there. Narkowicz flying in, but right into the block. Standing up that time is Alex Garavelia, who they will go to quite a bit on the Siena Heights side. Back to serve now, Keegan Crawford, the junior setter. Here's Patton to Eckert. He slices in the cross court and gets the touch that time from De Jesus, the reigning defender of the week in the WAC conference, and we're back tied up at 6. Head coach Ed Rule looking on in his 3rd season, the head coach of the men's and women's team on the Lawrence Tech side. Kim Barrington, also the head coach of the men's and women's team for Siena Heights. 7-6 now in favor of the Saints. These teams split the matchups on the women's season. And the men's side, as I mentioned, Siena Heights has taken the first 2. First one was that first weekend of the season. Both have been 4-set affairs as Ooms able to get that to touch the line, and the Blue Devils tie it up. Lawrence Patton back to serve here. Blue Devils are 15-12 on the season. It's their best record ever in the month of January. I mentioned they're on a program record 5-game winning streak, and it kind of feels like every time we broadcast this team, they're setting some sort of a milestone. Only a program that's 4 seasons old. In the first year, 0 wins. This second season, they had 4 wins. Third season, 8 wins. Now they have a chance to double that tonight and hit the 16-win mark. So trying to continue to climb and grow in this relatively young program. Here's Lawrence Patton in tight to the net there. This is going to go in favor of Siena Heights on the double contact. So 9-7. And De Jesus back to serve. Now Patton. Look to Eckert, has to run that down very tight to the net. And now the reset, just going cross court to Narkowicz, but kind of scrambling that time. And Siena Heights will take the point on a bit of a run now. 3-0 on the serve of De Jesus. Patton will set up Narkowicz. The blast, and it caught. Did it not catch it a couple of fingertips? It'll go in favor of Siena Heights, so 11-7. So the run on the serve of De Jesus continues. There's Narkowicz. Nice coverage there. Off the 10-foot line, it was Garavaglia. And now Patton goes back to Joshua Eckert. First pass wasn't quite on point, but they go back to him again. There we go. A bit of a miscommunication there. Contreras in the vicinity, but 5 in a row now for Siena Heights. And head coach Ed Rule will take a timeout. We'll go to a quick breather. Blue Devils down 7-12 in the early goings. A 5-0 run for the Saints under head coach Kim Barrington, trying to sweep the season series with Lawrence Tech. We'll be right back here on LTSN. You're listening to Blue Devil Men's Volleyball on your home for Blue Devil Athletics. Welcome back to LTSN. Siena Heights off to a 12-7 start, looking to sweep the season series with Lawrence Tech. It's a 5-0 scoring run on the serve of De Jesus. He's one of the better servers in the conference, leads this team with 27 aces, and they can really get on some runs, as we thought coming in on his serve. And there he is back once again. Right on cue, De Jesus continues his run. It's 6 in a row now And there's his 28th service ace of the season. One of a couple Indiana natives on this Saints roster. He's really providing some heat right now. Once again, causing plenty of trouble for the Blue Devils. They're going to have to send over a free ball. DeJesus, the feed in system, and did that catch the line? It did. So the Saints are flowing right now, cruising pretty comfortably with DeJesus back there. Asked Kim Barrington specifically about him before the game, and she said his volleyball IQ is just what makes him so good. Once again, the reigning defender of the week, Joshua Eckert, can provide some heat of his own and does there to make it 14-8 and finally snap that 5-0 run. It was 7-0 actually by the time Eckert was able to get that through. And now Eckert back to serve. A guy who has a high volleyball IQ of his own. Love chatting with Josh about the game of volleyball. He can go on and talk to you and teach the game with just, I mean, an endless knowledge and really fun, really insightful guy to listen to. The service error will give it right back to Siena Heights. Here's Patton. The serve to the middle, and that time finding his way was Joseph Belanda, the 6'5" middle hitter from Big Rapids, Michigan, one of 5 seniors on the Blue Devil roster that have played an integral role in the developments of this group and the large jump that they've taken. Once again, a chance to double their win total from last season. Here's Contreras back to serve, another one of those seniors. That one got a touch. 16-9 now. The Saints lead it. First time these two teams collided, it was the Blue Devils taking the first set, and then Siena Heights ran away after that. Next time Siena Heights won the first two, Blue Devils won the third, and then Siena Heights got right back into their pattern in the fourth. Try to go with a little slide behind action there to the outside hitter Emmanuel Scheidez, but right into the block, and it's 16-10. Blue Devils back on serve. Once again, I mentioned the last time we saw this group was one of the most hard-fought losses that we've seen from this team in program history, going up against number 2 Lourdes. They dropped the first 2 sets, were kind of out of sorts, then won the third and legitimately had the number 2 team in the country on their heels and a bit shaken, and forced them to a win-by-2 situation in the fourth, a chance to head to a fifth, but couldn't quite pull it out. It was 26-24 in that fourth, and that ended up being the difference. So 16-11 now. As we get a bit of a stoppage here. And back to serve will be Narkowicz. Serving right at Cashin that time. Now some time for DeJesus to set things up. The bump set, but right up into the block and goes back down. The Blue Devils are up 16-12. Rather, Siena Heights up 16-12. Blue Devils back to serve. Here's Markowicz, the Galloway, New Jersey native. 102 kills on the season entering today. One of 4 players with over 100 kills. As Siena Heights goes outside, and Narkowicz had some problems with that. Ooms, though, gets it back, goes cross-court. Sprawling effort from DeJesus, and might have been some contact. They're going to give the point to Siena Heights. So 17-12 now in this opening set. Working quickly and getting the line. It's Emmanuel Scheidez, second ace that we've seen from the Siena Heights team. Hitting .357 as a group in the early goings. Here's Patton going cross-court to Ooms. The block was up that time. Now out of the middle, and Siena Heights ready once more. Siena Heights isn't anywhere near as tall as the Blue Devils' last WAC opponent in Lourdes, but the block was up those couple of times. They're up 19-12 here in this first set. Blue Devils once again having a bit of trouble with Siena Heights in the third and final meeting of the regular season between these two teams. We'll go to a quick breather on LTSN. You're watching Blue Devil Women's Volleyball. Oh. Welcome back to LTSN. Jason Ross Jr. back with you, producer Desi Cook today, and another edition of Blue Devil men's volleyball on hand. Siena Heights on a 3-0 run. They get snapped there on the service error. Just one final home match left on this floor for the Blue Devils. They've been able to turn it around on the home floor this season. Just 1-3 last year, 3-2 this season. Cincinnati Christian will be senior day next Wednesday. There's Lawrence Patton setting up Joshua Eckert. The block was able to slow that down, but then a bit of a miscommunication there. I think Bryce Johnson might have thought De Jesus was going after it. Still just 5 points separating these teams. Can the Blue Devils string together a run? We saw them do it on the home floor last time against Lourdes. Here's Ooms. Kerwood, and right up the block there. Patton combining. Patton and Max Jewett there. Now back to serve Ooms. That ball goes up into the ceiling, comes back down. Plenty of time here out of the back row. Now Lawrence Patton, who has been turned into a setter with the loss of Gospel Sua, which obviously will play a role that the Blue Devils would not like to go through with losing essentially Patton's hitting. As he's done well setting early on. He's had 29 assists against Bluefield College, but you're missing his hitting with the loss of Sua, who also brought such an energetic leadership to this team. I mentioned the Blue Devils have 5 seniors, now 4 with the loss of Sua. So we'll see if they can handle that. This team has been so calm, so composed really throughout the season, and that was on display probably most in a loss against Lourdes the last time we saw them here, and obviously in wins, and that win total is up because of it. Here's Jacob Page, another guy with a really high volleyball IQ, back to serve. Bryce Johnson can get a hold of that out of the middle. So still just 4 points separating these two teams. Lawrence Patton, more of an even kill kind of personality, as head coach Ed Rule told me, in comparison to Gospel Sua, but it still works. It's not as head coach Ed Rule put it, it's not a bad thing, it's just a different thing. And we'll see if they can handle it. Back down 5 now. Here's Justin Gray. Ooms handles that. And that did not catch the line, so the point goes to Siena Heights. Just 2 points away from claiming this opening set on the road. Nice flat serve there. Blue Devils had trouble with it. They have to send over a free ball. Siena Heights looking to take advantage of this, and they do. Set point now. I mentioned the Siena Heights team, one of the smaller teams in the conference. Nowhere near as tall as Lourdes, the last team the Blue Devils faced in the conference, but head coach Kim Barrington told me they're able to win the long rallies. Very well-conditioned group. That serve clips off the tape of the net, which it can. Out of the back row, front row rather, was Eckert flying in there with some heat, but Siena Heights handled it initially, and then the point will go to Lawrence Tech. Remaining set point here for Siena Heights. Lawrence Patton, they serve the libero, and as per usual, it was De Jesus able to handle that. Not what you want to do with the Siena Heights team. They get that tooled off the block and do indeed claim the opening set, 25-18. So it's Siena Heights looking to claim the season series against Lawrence Tech. A clean sweep at that. They're up 25-18. The opening set is wrapped up. 2-1 down, perhaps 2 more to go for this Saints team. Blue Devils looking to say something different this time around, and we'll get a quick breather between sets here on the home for Lawrence Tech Athletics. You're watching Blue Devil men's volleyball on LTSN. Welcome back to LTSN, another edition of Blue Devil men's volleyball. Blue Devils hit negative in that first set, so looking to bounce back. They'll need laser-like focus the rest of the way to defeat the Siena Heights team. Here's Lawrence Patton serving, and now he's cross-court, and they'll take the first point for the second set in a row. First set was decided 25-18 in favor of Siena Heights. Here's the senior Patton. We've talked about how his role has been kind of forced to change with the loss of Gospel Sua. And Patton, the West Bloomfield, Michigan, Walled Lake Central High School. I mentioned he had 29 assists versus Bloomfield College. That was the last victory for Lawrence Tech. Next up will be Cincinnati Christian a week from tonight, as Markowicz continues tonight, the nice start for Lawrence Tech. University of Charleston, Campbellsville University, Cardinal Stritch, the opponents that will follow after that Cincinnati Christian matchup leading into the WAC tournament. Siena Heights knots things up. Siena Heights really got on a run on the serve of DeJesus in that first set. Here's Patton to the middle, that time looking for Belanda. Here's Kirkwood looking for Evan Cashin. He led the team in kills in that first set for Siena Heights. DeJesus, nice range to track that down. There's Gomez with a swing there. Ooms with a little off-speed touch. And now the back set. This time looking for Cashin, the 6'2 freshman. Back to Ooms. The transfer from the Netherlands was roofed. That time teaming up over there, the block with Bryce Johnson and Scheidez. Make it 3-3. Here's the dangerous serve of DeJesus coming up. He really put the service pressure on the Blue Devils in that first set. That's where Siena Heights found their rhythm, found their momentum, and really ran away with the opening set. So we'll see how the Blue Devils can handle this serve-receive here. Emerging after tying his shoe there was Kevin Gomez. And now back to serve DeJesus. There's the heat right away, forcing the free ball, or the overpass rather. And that is put away right on cue. This time a bit softer, finding the middle. He mixes it up as well. Slicing into the cross court was Eckert. DeJesus. The bump set, that's on back to Cashin. Eckert has to track that down. And now a free ball for Siena Heights to work with. Out of the back row, a big blast, and that did catch the line. The initial response from Lawrence Tech was they thought it was long. 5-3. This is the dangerous spot for Lawrence Tech right now. Nicely done, though, that time in the back row from Javier Contreras. Ooms off the block to slow that down a bit. Got a fingertip from the Lawrence Tech side. Ooms the blast, able to tool it, and Lawrence Tech gets back on the board, snapping that run. That felt like an important point for Lawrence Tech and Calvin Ooms. Markowicz serving. What a nice pass that time. A nice first touch from DeJesus. Siena Heights takes the point right back. 6-4 now. When they arrived, they were pretty pumped up to get this thing started in warm-ups, and they've carried it into the first and now the second set. Nice pass to Ooms, but the block is up. Emmanuel Scheidez that time. A nice lateral movement. The middle blocker from Aurora, Illinois, West Aurora High School. Won Attacker of the Week last month. Coming off really impactful and efficient performance against Morningside. The Siena Heights team coming off a win over Morningside as the Blue Devils get the point there to make it 7-5. Patton going cross court that time to Eckert. And Joshua Eckert able to finish that off. A San Juan, Puerto Rico native with his 5th kill of the night. And Josh had to miss some time early in the season. That had to be frustrating, yet he's still up to 161 kills at 59 last year. I mean, you look around this roster and there's increased production everywhere. And that's been a part of the excelled production all around and the excelled record this season for Lawrence Tech. Here's Jacob Page. Ooms taking the heat that time. And this will go to Siena Heights. Both of these teams just one loss in the month of March. Siena Heights at 6-1, Blue Devils at 5-1. The block is up that time. It's been tough to go out of the middle for Lawrence Tech. 10-7 now. Blue Devils clawed within 4 late in that first after they went down by as much as 7. So Siena Heights given that last point prior to the error there off the out of rotation call, and now it'll be Patton back to serve. And that clipped off the net. Pancake attempt that time from Bryce Johnson, but it did touch the floor. And serve, here's the set to Bryce Johnson. Back to Ooms, and now here's Patton. Ooms just taps that one over. De Jesus will find Keegan Crawford, but the block goes up. 11-10 now. Blue Devils clawing their way back into this one. Lawrence Patton down the line with that serve. And Siena Heights will get the point back there. They're able to 2 the block that time. It's Keegan Crawford. Eckert to Patton, to Belanda. De Jesus there. And now he'll find Garavaglia. Patton to Eckert. And Josh Eckert on a bit of a roll in this second set. He's leading the way with 6 kills. Getting just under 200 in this one. Patton finding Ooms that time. And the Blue Devils And once again, they'll tie it up. Lawrence Tech at 15-12 on the season under head coach Ed Rule, and Siena Heights at 14-8. Here is Eckert. Jesus took that receive and was able to set up that time Kevin Gomez going cross court, but out of the court, and Eckert will go back to serve. A service error that time, so 13-13 now. Back and forth we go. Eckert tracks that down. They end up getting a pretty nice setup for Ooms. Patton. Ooms. 14-13 now. The Siena Heights lead. Head coach Ed Rule told me before this one they want to try to speed things up against the Siena Heights team. That's time the beautiful setup and the dish right on the platter for Bryce Johnson. He's one of 4 players with over 150 kills on that Siena Heights side. That's dumped down in the right place at the right time was Markowicz. Eckert out of the back row. And there's Cashin. Contreras to Markowicz, cross court. And 15-15. Looking around the WAC, Lourdes, as I mentioned, atop the conference at 5-0. 15-3 overall. And both of these teams lost their matchups with Lourdes. Siena Heights still has to play Lourdes one more time, and before the conference tournament is most likely hosted down in Sylvania. Aquinas second at 5-1. They could still catch Lourdes, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that that could happen. They've had an excellent season as well at 23-1, the best overall record in the conference, but Lourdes undefeated in conference play at 5-0, hence the reason why they are number 1 in the WAC right now. But Aquinas has been sensational, number 6 in the country. Lourdes at number 2 in the country, followed by the Siena Heights team, and Lawrence Tech battling it out for 3rd place. Goshen at 0-5. 7-16 on the conference. We remain tight now, 17-16. Siena Heights with the lead and on serve. Here's Patton. Cross court's Eckert off the block. Tracked down by De Jesus. Controlling the traffic, barking out the signals, and that clips off the fingertips of Jewett. Calvin Ooms taking that serve. Patton a nice pass to Eckert. At that point, we'll go to Lawrence Tech, able to 2 with the block that time. 18-17 now. An important point there to snap that run late in this set. And now the experienced senior, Jacob Page, back to serve. Garavelia's swing catches a couple of fingertips, 18-17. 19-17 rather. Garavelia leading the team in kills with 206 coming into tonight. He's been a force all season. The only player with 200-plus kills on the Siena Heights side of things. Lawrence Tech with a player with 200 kills of his own, and Calvin Ooms. Those are the go-to options in terms of production. Patton, nice setup there for Markowicz. Markowicz had 8 kills in that matchup with Bluefield College. Calvin Ooms had 12 in that one, leading the way, hitting over 600. He hit 500 over the trip. Blue Devils covered 3 states over their spring break trip. We're very successful, going 5-0, looking to extend what is the longest program winning streak at 5 in a row. This program taking monumental jumps this season. Similar to the women's program that had an excellent season, finishing 22-12, 14-6 in conference play. Ed Rule is also the head coach of that one, and it's 21-20 now as the Blue Devils take the lead late in this second set, looking to tie it up at a set apiece. We'll take a quick breather on LTSN. Welcome back to LTSN. Blue Devils with a 21-20 lead late in this second set, looking to hold on and knot us up at a set apiece. We knew coming into this one it would be tight, it would be hotly contested, it would be competitive. Blue Devils up 2 now. Eckert's played a big role in this second set. Again, they continued on his serve. A sprawling effort from De Jesus. Outside this time, looking for Gomez, but the Blue Devils continue. They're on 3 in a row now. Eckert once again applying the service pressure, but there to handle it quite well was De Jesus. Blue Devils in system here. Nice off speed. Good coverage, but a bit of a miscommunication will allow for a free ball that Lawrence Tech will try to work with. Narkowicz into the block, but he was able to tool it. It's 24-20 and a set point for Lawrence Tech on a 5-0 scoring run. As I mentioned, this team so calm, so composed. Down the line, they closed it out. The energy is high after dropping the first set 18-25. They win this one 25-20. We're tied up at a set apiece now, heading into a third. More fun action coming your way on LTSN. Blue Devils riding the momentum wave as they did the last time we saw them on this home floor. We'll be right back once again, tied up at a set apiece now. You're watching Blue Devil men's volleyball on LTSN. Welcome back to LTSN. Jason Ross Jr. back with producer Desi Cook tonight. Wednesday night edition of Blue Devil Men's Volleyball. We'll be back next week for senior night against Cincinnati Christian. But right now, the Blue Devils open to take care of business against a 14-8 Siena Heights team under head coach Kim Barrington. Head coach Ed Rule on the Blue Devils side, hoping his team can get a program record 6th straight win. Here's De Jesus back to serve. He's really applied the service pressure throughout this one. That's when Siena Heights has been on their runs. They're looking to get something going in transition here. And we get the whistle. This point is going to go to Siena Heights. First time in this match that Siena Heights has taken the first point of the set. Blue Devils claimed that feat in the first two. Free ball to work with here. Narkowicz sends one back over. Siena Heights working with it out of the middle, and Contreras couldn't track that one down, and an energized Siena Heights team out of the break. Patton kind of close to Narkowicz there, put it up high for him. Block was up, dumping that back over. A nice play from Belanda. Crawford tracks that down. Off the fingertips of Eckert. Ooms tips that up. These two teams jousting for third place in the WAC over this final stretch of the season. Could be back pretty big considering that, you avoid most likely Aquinas in the first round, or perhaps Lourdes in the first round of the WAC tournament when that rolls around. That serve goes wide from Contreras. 4-2 now. There's Ooms able to fire away into the middle. Swings that are low and hard to the middle of the court. Oftentimes hard to deal with, hard to get help coming in. Nice receive that time from De Jesus. Got up there and was able to eventually get a nice setup to Garavaglia, who leads this team in kills, and he puts it away to make it 5-3. Scheidez, Eckert digs that out. Out of the back row and down the middle, right to Contreras. Ooms has to track that down, the transfer from the Netherlands. And now outside this time for Garavaglia, and that was long. They're going to give that point to Siena Heights, rather. They reversed it. Transition opportunity that time for Scheidez. Point to Lawrence Tech. 6th kill of the night that time for Garavaglia. Tight at the net there. That time Keegan Crawford looking for Johnson. He's going to go to Siena Heights, 8-4 now. On an extended run here. Patton going this time back to Ooms. Into the cross court, able to dig that out. There was Keegan Crawford, the setter, and that's time into the block. Able to tool it. There's Kevin Gomez, and this run continues. And Ed Rule wants to hopefully stop it. 9-4, the third set lead for Siena Heights. We are tied at a set apiece. You're watching Blue Devil Men's Volleyball on your home for Blue Devil Athletics. Welcome back to LTSN. A 9-4 Siena Heights lead in this third set on an extended run here, a 4 in a row. Blue Devils looking to stem the tide. They go outside for Eckert, and they are able to stop it out of the timeout. Excellent job there to halt that momentum that Siena Heights was rolling with. It's really how they ran away with the first set. Just kind of on serve and got things going. Now Page serving back there, the senior. That's long, so quick 2-0 mini run for Lawrence Tech out of the timeout. The big blast, but right into the block that time. It was Garavaglia looking for his 7th kill of the night, but Eckert said no. 9-7 now. Blue Devils on a 3-0 run. They've quickly clawed back. That was long, but it got a tip. About the halfway point of this third set, Blue Devils will take that service error. Take as many of those as they can get. That's the 8th service error for Siena Heights. Blue Devils have 9 of those. They gave it right back, though. So 11-8 with the dangerous DeJesus back to serve. Patton, nice back set for an oncoming Eckert. Off the block, this pops up. Keegan Crawford out of the back row. That time they go. Lawrence Patton. Here's Eckert. Now DeJesus. He's a great passer. That was nice. Block was up that time from Eckert. They've been kind of the shutdown pairing over there, Eckert and Belanda. Narkowicz. That was too long. who can put themselves one set away. That's what this set will decide. There's a free ball for Siena Heights to work with. And teeing it up with excellent position, excellent approach. An easy put away that time for Kevin Gomez. The freshman from Columbus had 63 kills entering tonight. They really spread the wealth around. That's fourth on the team. Gomez is a formidable threat. But really not even the first or second option. Here's another free ball for the Saints to work with. Out of the middle that time. Emmanuel Scheidez. Eckert tracks that down with a nice hustle. Lawrence Patton, some nice coverage. Ooms. Patton had 29 assists last time out. To Eckert. Eckert, a team leading 9 kills now. And that was Patton's 19th assist. That's a little too tough to handle in the front row, and Siena Heights back up 14-9. Ooms. That went over the net. Looked initially like it was going to be really tight. Just floated over. And the easy dump down. 15-9. The ace from Gomez. (16-9). Replicating the first set lead that Siena Heights had. They kind of ran away with it from that point on. Doesn't feel like their momentum is quite as gripping in this set, but nonetheless, they're up 16-9 on the scoreboard all of a sudden on a 3-0 scoring run. Gomez, the outside hitter from Columbus. Patton, West Bloomfield, Michigan native. Tracking this down, Keegan Crawford, their setter. Patton to Eckert. A little too much heat there, 17-9 now. This is a very calm Lawrence Tech team, but it's starting to slip away a bit. And they'll call a timeout because of that. They did well out of the timeout last time. We'll see if they can do that again this time around. 18-9, the third set lead for the Saints on the road. It's a set apiece right now here in Southfield. You're watching Blue Devil men's volleyball on LTSN. Welcome back to LTSN. An 18-9 Siena Heights lead in this third set. And on serve here on a 6-0 scoring run. Ooms, Patton will go back to Ooms. Now Patton, Ooms once again, and that time able to finish it off. Can the Blue Devils spark an emotional run here and an emotional comeback? Siena Heights was pretty quick out of their timeout. Blue Devils talk things over. Once again, a good play out of the timeout. Contreras serves De Jesus. Patton able to catch that fire, but sends over a free ball. done a really nice job of blocking on that side of the net in particular. Have the Blue Devils 18-12 now. Javier Contreras. Keegan Crawford, and this point will go to Siena Heights. Siena Heights won the first 2 meetings of the year between these teams. Blue Devils hoping to at least take one against the Saints this season. First one took place in that first opening tournament weekend of the season. The second one happened just 12 days later. Both were 4-set affairs. This one will go at least 4 sets. Eckert out of the back row. Jewett has done a nice job of blocking in this one. That one gets past the block, heat into the back row. Contreras did well to handle it, but Patton fumbled it there, and 20-12 now. Back to serve now, Evan Cashin. Just one of 2 players on the Siena Heights roster that's from the state of Michigan. At this point, we'll go to Lawrence Tech. Justin Gray, the other from the state of Michigan. He's from Fraser, Michigan. Over on the sideline right now with the clipboard. So now Scheide is back to serve. Mentioned he won Attacker of the Week last month for Siena Heights in the WAC conference. Pleasure to be with you here on LTSN. This is our first of what feels like many different broadcasts this week. We have baseball getting back underway on our broadcast this weekend. Off to a nice start. Softball team has been excellent. Can't wait to see them. We'll have lacrosse, women's and men's action over at Farmington Hills Harrison High School. That'll be a 1 p.m. and a 3:30 p.m. start on Saturday. So you have a litany of different options on Saturday if you want to watch some Lawrence Tech sports. Head over to the LTU Athletics YouTube channel or Facebook page and you can find all your Blue Devil action, as we will have with you for the rest of the season. A few different broadcast teams going on Saturday. Should be a fun one. Baseball doubleheader, lacrosse doubleheader. Softball for you the week after that. You don't want to miss them. Off to a superb start, as I mentioned. The women's lacrosse team was able to get back on track a bit over their spring break trip. The men's lacrosse team came up with a big win at Kaiser. Both teams went down to Florida. And both of these teams also coming off spring break trips. Kind of a testimony to how dedicated these spring break athletes are. Don't have much of a break over the spring, and they just keep on working, keep churning, and keep working. 23-15 all of a sudden. Siena Heights just 2 points away. That sailed long. Keegan Crawford frustratedly walks over into the huddle. And meanwhile, Jacob Page will go back to serve. Page opts to go down the line. Up this time for Gomez, and he's a bit too powerful. Page, the backs. And that'll set up a set point now for Siena Heights. They're looking to put themselves in position to wrap it up in a fourth. Alex Garavelia back to serve. Eckert handles that nicely. Ooms. Blue Devils stay alive. De Jesus up to Cashin. And Patton will track this down in tight to the net there. Eckert flies in. Block was up that time. Combining on the left side, it was Evan Cashin and Scheides. Now able to put this set away. Kevin Gomez from Columbus, Ohio. He makes it 25-18, and for the second time, the Saints win a set, 25-18. Up 2-1 now. You're watching Blue Devil men's volleyball on your home for Lawrence Tech Athletics. We'll be back with a fourth coming at you in a minute. Blue Devils looking to stay alive. Welcome back to LTSN. Blue Devils in a position trying to stay alive now. That doesn't typically faze them. Can they pull off another program milestone today? Siena Heights will take the first point for the second set in a row. Lawrence Tech is 0-10 all time versus Siena Heights. A couple of hard-fought battles this season. Patton to Eckert. And that didn't clear the net. Plenty of smiles on the Siena Heights side of the net. focused, intense faces on the Lawrence Tech side. Narkowicz. And that was long, so a quick 3-0 start for Siena Heights. Blue Devils get their first point of the set. They did well on Eckert's serve in that second set. He's going to go back here and tee things up. Make sure to catch the highlights of this one afterwards. Sarah Davis patrolling the sidelines today, getting the highlights and interviews. We'll have post-game comments from Coach Ed Rule and catch up with a couple of players as well afterwards. You can find that on our social media channels, LTU Athletics, or on the LTU Sports Report next Monday at 4:30 p.m. on Fox Sports Detroit. You can catch the Sports Report every Monday on Fox Sports Detroit or on the LTU Athletics YouTube channel. You can also catch these highlights individually on the LTU Athletics YouTube channel and all of you Blue Devil men's volleyball content. Out of the back row, that's superb, heady, cerebral, off-speed touch. That's from Garavaglia. Able to put that away. He's got a mixture of shots in his repertoire on display there. Not just heat. Can mix it up and throw the other team off, and doing well to do so there. Patton finding Ooms. And the solo block that time. Not the first time we've seen that from Emmanuel Scheidez. They'd like to call him Manny on the Siena Heights side of things. That time tooling the block, providing a bit more heat as Calvin Ooms. Ooms came into this one with 3 consecutive matches of at least 10 kills. He's 2 away from that mark today. Ooms hitting 208 in this one. Narkowicz the dump down there. He has 7 kills of his own. And that's too much to handle for Contreras, and it's a 6-3 lead for Siena Heights. Hour and 19 minutes into this one, another wet spot on the floor. So again, the Blue Devils coming in on a 5-game winning streak. Aquinas is also on a 5-game winning streak. Those two with the longest winning streaks in the WAC right now. Blue Devils at 4th in the WAC. 5 seniors in this group. Program that's only 4 seasons old. It's been an excellent year. They've never beaten Siena Heights, though. Down a set right now. Only down 3 and make it just down 2. Patton had to track that down, and well behind the 10-foot line there, Narkowicz. Here's Patton up to Ooms. That goes off the block. Patton will try to get things going once again here. Blue Devils definitely missing the hitting of Lawrence Patton right now. He's been moved over to the setter position with the good news for Gospel Sua. Got a full-time job, and congratulations to Gospel. Blue Devils kind of feeling it on the volleyball court, though, right now. Here's Patton. Narkowicz. The block was up that time. And once again, Bryce Johnson doing a nice job laterally up there at the net, along with Evan Cashin. Ooms taking this receive. Nice job there. Calvin Ooms now out of the Netherlands. Up at the front row. Contreras, Patton looking for Eckert. Taps that one over on a bit of a half swing. Now to the back row, providing the heat, but too long. Evan Cashin, who led the team in kills through 2 sets. Now Crawford that time to Johnson. That's on clips the block. So not 10-7 now in favor of Siena Heights. Here's Patton. Going cross court, they have to send over the free ball. And here comes Cashin. Patton over to Ooms. Bobbling that one. Siena Heights. There's a big swing. Contreras there to track things down behind Eckert. An off-speed tap over. Now they go back this time. And this point will go to Siena Heights. Ooms, Patton, cross to Eckert. Now DeJesus. He's been a bit more quiet in this third set, or fourth set rather. He's probably been the MVP so far for this Siena Heights team. You can count him as the reason why they won the opening set. Had a big role in the second as well. Lawrence Tech took the second. Siena Heights took the third. Now Ed Rule wants to take the timeout here in the fourth. Down 13-7. Trying to stem the tide. They've done well out of timeouts. And this might be the most crucial timeout of the match here. Down 13-7 in the fourth. And Siena Heights up 2 sets, 2-1 over the Lawrence Tech Blue Devils. Welcome back to LTSN. Siena Heights serving here up 13-7. Lawrence Patton looking for Eckert. And that time teaming up Bryce Johnson over there with Kevin Gomez from Columbia. Bryce Johnson out of the middle. Johnson has 6 kills now. Patton looking for Eckert. They've gone to him quite a bit over the past couple of sets, and it's worked out. He's pacing this Blue Devil team with 10 kills now. That snapped a run of 6 in a row. Bryce Johnson once again. That time the Blue Devil block was able to slow it down a bit. Now Eckert staying hot. Page gets it across to Jesus. Did well to take that, and it was relatively easy serve receive that time for Siena Heights. What head coach Ed Rule told me before this one was that the primary reason he felt they dropped those first two was basically how many points they gave Siena Heights. As Eckert stays hot, getting the tool off the block there, and he said all the errors really played against them. They lost both of those in 4 sets. Down 6 here, with Lawrence Patton back to serve, working pretty quickly. They want to speed the pace up against this Siena Heights team, and on a bit of a run now, 16-11. Patton serves De Jesus, and an excellent first touch, but the block was up. On the second chance, Ooms has to send over the overpass. A sprawling effort there, excellent hustle. That time from Keegan Crawford set that point up for Siena Heights. And they give him a well-deserved pat on the back. Crawford, the junior, he kind of struggled against Morningside in Iowa. Last matchup for Siena Heights individually, but the team did very well in that one, winning it 3-0. Both of these teams coming off clean sweeps. Blue Devils, as I mentioned, had only dropped a set in their last 5 coming into this one. Eckert serve. De Jesus has been tracking those down. Eckert, bump set to the front. And now Patton will set up Ooms. And this point will go to Lawrence Tech. Only down 4. But Siena Heights with a chance to put this one away. We played best 3 sets out of 5. A shortened 5th if necessary. Lawrence Tech almost pushed the number 2 team in the country, Lourdes, to a 5th the last time they played on this floor, but lost the 4th 26-24. They trail it 2-1 now. Cashin back to serve. He's had a nice outing. That's dumped right over on the overpass. Patton. Narkowicz. That's too long. There's another one of those unforced errors. What head coach Ed Rule talked about before this one. Patton off the net there was Ooms. Now on a cross they go. Patton this time out of the back row. Eckert providing the heat off the block, but couldn't handle it in front. I mentioned Eckert entered this one with 161 kills on the season. He has 13 today, leading the way for Lawrence Tech. Contreras now, the Miami, Florida native, trying to provide the service pressure. A nice job again on the receive side of things for Siena Heights. Looking back on this one afterwards, if Siena Heights does go on to wrap this one up in this set, that might be one of the points to look at how well they were able to receive in this one. Patton back to Narkowicz, the big blast. Bryce Johnson down the line. Four Saints with at least 7 kills in this one. A whistle before that serve. Three points away are the Saints. Eckert handles that. Dumping it over was Max Jewett, the two-sport athlete, also the #1 goalie on our soccer team that won the WAC tournament this year. Head coach Will Dyer really speaks very highly of him. Those two have known each other for about 5 years now. Kind of decided to play volleyball last year, and he's done an excellent job kind of adjusting. It's been a bit of a natural, and he's kind of had to be, knowing that he does have to miss time due to those sports overlapping. It's a really interesting story, Jewett. Max deals with a valvular heart disease, and he went to his cardiologist and was told that he would have to have surgery and would be done with sports, something that nobody wants to hear, obviously. And, after some MRIs, they determined that he could actually continue playing sports. And after that scare, he decided to play volleyball. So now a two-sport athlete, and he's done a good job with it. And they're going to go to Eckert. Blue Devils trying to stay alive here. They get the point to do so. Getting back to Max's original appeal to come to Lawrence Tech came from the engineering school, obviously an excellent engineering school here at Lawrence Tech University. Here's Joseph Page back to serve, the business administration major. Nice job of taking that heat from Narkowitz. I believe they called the double hit there. That's going to set up a match point for Siena Heights. And they have the guy back there that you'd prefer to have on a match point. Eckert trying to save the day. Keegan Crawford has really hustled all afternoon. De Jesus couldn't save that. Patting the dump over, and the Blue Devils stay alive for at least another point. 1 hour and 34 minutes into this one. Lawrence Patton back to serve. And that will do it for the season sweep. Siena Heights takes this one, and they'll run away with a 3-0 record against Lawrence Tech this season, considering these teams could still meet in the WAC tournament, at least in the regular season. Saints continue their success, now 11-0 all-time against the Blue Devils, as Lawrence Tech will look to head back to the drawing board. They'll have Cincinnati Christian next Wednesday here on LTSN, the second matchup of the season with Cincinnati Christian, and we'll have that one for you. A 7 p.m. start. Looking forward to seeing you there. Make sure to catch all your Blue Devil athletics the remainder of this week. Still plenty to come here on LTSN. For Jason Ross Jr., producer Desi Cook. Final here, Siena Heights takes it 3-1 on the home floor here inside the Don Riddler Fieldhouse. Have a wonderful night